The moment SB19 stopped playing by traditional industry rules, they transformed from a managed act into a force the global music business could no longer ignore. In an era where most artists struggle simply for fairer royalty percentages or minor creative input, SB19 chose a far more radical path: absolute ownership. Leaving the safety net of corporate backing meant abandoning guaranteed resources and predictable promotional pipelines. But it allowed them to build genuine structural power rather than merely borrow it. Through the establishment of 1Z Entertainment, they did not just secure their creative independence, they built leverage in a system designed to deny it. This move shifted their trajectory entirely, moving them away from merely trying to break into the international scene toward forcing the global industry to adjust to their presence. If you want to stay ahead of the major movements shaping modern culture and music, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to keep following these critical industry breakdowns. When SB19 stepped away from their original agency framework, the move initially looked less like a calculated masterstroke and more like an enormous financial risk. Yet beneath the surface lay a clear, calculated restructuring of power. Having experienced firsthand how traditional music systems operate, with tight management control over artistic direction, corporate filters on branding, and revenue models that rarely favor artists over the long term, they recognized that staying within that box would always limit their trajectory. Crucially, they chose to step outside the system at the exact moment their momentum was building. While most acts wait until they hit a commercial peak before attempting to negotiate autonomy, SB19 chose to redefine their position before reaching that summit. They recognized early on that global success without intellectual property ownership is fleeting, forcing themselves into a position where every victory belonged fully to them. Along with every financial risk, the creation of 1Z Entertainment represents a fundamental restructuring of how authority operates in the music business. Unlike traditional record labels where corporate executives dictate creative direction based on risk algorithms and demographic data, 1Z places the artists at the exact center of every decision. This operational shift dramatically speeds up execution by eliminating multi-layered approval chains and corporate lag, resulting in sharper, more authentic creative output. Traditional labels thrive on total control because it protects their profit margins and preserves institutional influence. By completely reversing that dynamic, SB19 proved that artist-side control can exist without sacrificing operational scale or production value. What makes SB19's rise so compelling is that their success is not an accidental byproduct of virality, but the result of meticulous planning. Their deliberate use of language alone illustrates a clear strategy, seamlessly blending Tagalog and English to preserve their authentic Filipino identity while remaining accessible to a global audience. Furthermore, their visibility across international platforms is carefully paced to build momentum rather than exhaust public attention. Rather than relying on lucky algorithmic breaks, SB19 treats digital platforms and viral trends as structured tools within a broader brand strategy, converting brief internet exposure into long-term market positioning. Central to this ecosystem is their fandom, a tin, whose level of coordination mirrors a professional marketing machine. What sets it apart is not merely their enthusiastic devotion, but their structured organization. From synchronized streaming initiatives and coordinated social media campaigns to driving international visibility, this collective action turns fan passion into measurable commercial impact. This grassroots power, coupled with SB19's complete creative control, creates deep trust between the artists and their audience. Listeners know the music and visual concepts are coming directly from the members themselves, building a level of brand loyalty that transient industry trends can never replicate. For years, the P-pop genre operated under the shadow of comparison, often dismissed as a regional derivative of K-pop rather than a distinct artistic movement. SB19 confronted that narrative directly, not by rejecting outside influences, but by redefining their own identity. By embedding Filipino culture, linguistic nuances, and localized storytelling into their music, they turned their heritage into a competitive advantage. This approach challenged the long-standing industry assumption that crossover success requires assimilation into dominant Western or East Asian pop frameworks. In doing so, they opened doors for an entire generation of Southeast Asian performers to be evaluated on their own terms. Beyond their artistic achievements, the members of SB19 think like corporate executives. They have systematically built a diversified revenue structure encompassing music publishing, live touring, merchandise production, and selective brand partnerships. By carefully aligning only with brands that elevate their reputation, they maintain absolute veto power over their image while building long-term financial stability. Consequently, they are no longer evaluated as a local act seeking validation, but as a self-sustaining powerhouse competing directly on the international stage alongside major label artists. Operating without a corporate safety net, however, carries immense operational pressure. When an independent agency scales globally, every financial decision, production budget, and marketing campaign carries immediate consequences. There is no corporate buffer to absorb losses, demanding exceptional operational discipline alongside creative excellence. Yet for SB19, this high-stakes environment is a deliberate choice driven by conviction rather than comfort. Operating with a smaller margin for error in exchange for complete creative and financial sovereignty. Ultimately, SB19's journey is far bigger than the success of a single group. Through 1Z Entertainment, they are crafting a viable blueprint for the future of the music industry, one where artists can retain total ownership, maintain cultural authenticity, and still achieve global scale without surrendering to major label control. They are dismantling the outdated belief that international success requires institutional validation from traditional media hubs. SB19 is not merely participating in the global music landscape, they are actively redesigning it.